Hello everyone, let's do another kitchen scrap dye, this time using carrot tops. So if you need carrots and you go to the store and your store has the ones with the green leafy parts still on top, grab them because these make a fantastic yellow dye. And with a dash of iron, they make green. Today we're going to do both. So this process may seem familiar if you watched my other dye videos, because it is. I'm just going to chop up the green parts off of the carrots into maybe 1 or 2 inch pieces, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to add them into my pot of water, which is at a simmer. And I'm gonna let it simmer for about an hour or so. So my grocery store very conveniently puts carrots together in about 3 to 4 ounce quantities. So I know a bunch of carrots is gonna be enough to dye 1 skein of yarn. So 1 skein of yarn, 1 bunch of carrots. If you're unsure, you can always get 2 bunches of carrots, you know, more is better, always. So I have my pot of water. It's going. I'm just gonna add my greens into my water. I'm gonna keep it at a simmer for about an hour or so. Actually, the last time I did this dye, I checked the temperature, which I never do, and it was 165 degrees. So about 165, if that kind of information is important to you. And then I'll come back and check it. So I'm gonna let this simmer for about an hour, although time isn't really the deciding factor. What I wanna see is that water turn a nice golden yellow. So while I'm keeping my eye on this, I'm actually gonna start cutting up and prepping these carrots because we need a semi-healthy snack to balance out the mountain of junk behind me as we start another epic D&D weekend where the family gathers to battle for 2 solid days. It's been a little over an hour and the color looks nice and yellow, so I am now going to add my wool. I've had it sitting in warm water, so it's nice and saturated. That really helps the dye absorb into the skein better. And it's been pre-mordanted with alum. It is 1 skein, and I broke it into 2 skeins because I want to shift one of them to green later. But right now we're gonna start off with yellow. So I'm gonna add these directly into the pot like this. And it's going to, you know, simmer for at least a half an hour because you want to give that dye time to absorb into the fiber. And then after that, you pull it when you like the color. It's been a little bit over 30 minutes and the color is already just looking so good. I love this yellow. So this is done. And what I forgot to mention is that a lot of dyers like to strain out the dye stuff before they add their fiber using a simple strainer because, as you can see, it gets pretty tangled in the wool. I don't mind it this way, but if you do, strain before you add your fiber. So I'm going to pull both of these out and then we're going to shift one of them to green. Oh, so good. Iron can be used as a mordant, or like today, we're gonna use it in what's called an afterbath. We're gonna shift that yellow to a green. In official dye terms, it's called saddening, which I just think sounds so terrible. So we have our skein out of the dye pot. I turned the heat off. It's nice and hot. We do not need to continue to add heat to the pot. And I'm gonna add in about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon at a time. The goal is you want to see the color in that dye shift from a clear light yellow to a darker greenish color. So I added about a half a teaspoon of iron. I'm gonna stir thoroughly because you do not want any little dry iron crystals to stick to the yarn. You want it to completely absorb into that dye bath. And then I'm gonna check the color. It still looks a little yellower than I want, so I'm gonna add a smidge more. Now you have to be careful with iron. Some people say that it can weaken your wool. I've never actually had that happen, but it's happened to someone out there, so just be warned. So I added a little bit more iron. I'm trying to get that color darker. Yes, that looks good. Okay, with my iron now added, I'm going to add this yellow skein back in with all of the little carrot bits still attached. It's totally fine. You're gonna let the skein sit in this iron after bath until it turns from yellow into a green that you like. It's a slow process. You're gonna add it in and it's gonna look like nothing's happening. So give it some time. You can give it a gentle stir there now and then, but just try to leave it. Check frequently, pull it when you like it. Actually, that looks really good. So it's been sitting in the dye bath for about 20 minutes, no heat. I didn't agitate the yarn, and the color is amazing. It's like carrot top green. Now this was with a little bit over a half a teaspoon of iron. You may need a little less, you may need a little bit more. So I'm going to rinse my skeins and clean all of this up so that I can get ready for the big game until we dye again.